Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks for joining. And my name is Venkat. We are co-presenting this webinar with two other my co-workers, Soumik and Ganesh. And myself, I'm a technical architect working in VMware IT. Predominantly, my work is around building scalable and resilient applications. We deploy them across the cloud. And majority of my work involves into building a different architectures, blueprints for IT business. And I have an experience building scalable applications, highly high availability applications for over 20 years, particularly in retail and BFSI domain. Let's go, Ganesh. You can introduce yourself.
Hey, good morning, good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you for joining this webinar for today's session on modernization of application platform. Myself, Ganesh, I belong to my background is with application operation engineering team, where I have been a facilitator for over a decade on the middleware and cloud platform engineering team. I've been responsible for designing and architecting the solution around the cloud native platforms, something like Kubernetes, Cloud Foundry. If you are the one who are looking for the solution over the cloud native area, please feel free to reach me. I'm available over the LinkedIn.
Good morning, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining this webinar. My name is Shavik. I'm currently working with SaaS IT Engineering Group as a developer, where we are using various type of VMware Tanzu offerings. And with the help of those services, like the Cloud Foundry or Kubernetes services, we are providing a highly resilient, scalable services or back office solutions, which are utilized by different customers and stakeholders. With no further ado, let's get started with the webinar for today, which will be now taken over by Venkata. Over to you, Venkata.
Okay, thanks, Soumik. Yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, I mean, today's digital businesses requires a digital foundations, and VMware powers the digital infrastructure across the world for many companies. And with our digital foundations, companies can deploy an application to any cloud and anywhere. And before we start going into the webinar, I just want to give you VMware Cloud Vision, how it helps the organizations and enterprises to build an application and to deploy to any cloud and anywhere. If you look at in the diagram, you see the digital foundation at the bottom of this stack, and that's where you have app modernization. That app modernization includes several tools, which includes the Tanzu stack, where you can build an application. Any application means it can be a web application, mobile applications, or any sort of backend services using our Tanzu Kubernetes create Tanzu application services, and including the old virtualization. So you can modernize your application stack with app modernization toolset. And also the digital foundation from VMware enables you to deploy applications across the cloud. It includes the data center and the public clouds and a hybrid multi-cloud, both options available. Not only that, it provides entire networking, storage, all those features for you. Apart from that, the VMware Digital Foundation also helps the remote workers. So in a pandemic situation, that's very important for many organizations. So it provides a digital workspace where you can quickly get any app on any device, whether it would be a laptop, whether it would be a mobile. From remotely, you can manage those things. So our vision is mostly around providing digital foundation, digital infrastructure for companies to do their digital transformations. And along with all these things, and we provide intrinsic security for across any device, any edge, and any cloud, which is baked into the platform. That's what we mean by intrinsic security. Let's go ahead. So yeah, I mean, VMware provides a digital foundations. Here, what we want to tell you is, as a VMware IT, which is a customer zero or customer one. Customer zero and customer one, I can define it as a how VMware IT internally uses VMware software to perform to perform different in particular modernizing our application stacks. And those stacks include we have web applications, native mobile applications, API services, and integration services. And many of them over 4 years we have been employed different techniques and tools, and we followed app modernization strategies, which is depicted in this diagram, to upgrade them to latest stack. So we employed a different strategies at our work. One is the couple of them I have listed here. One is the rehost, replatform, refactor, and rearchitect. So rehost is the where we take an application and just modify the OSs and make them shift into more platform-based IaaS kind of infrastructure, where you can move application and scale them quickly. And where replatform is the majority of our applications falls into replatform category. That's where we take an existing applications which are running on VMs, and we turn them into container, and we push them into our Tanzu based Kubernetes clusters, so that we have high availability and flexibility within the application. So that's majority of the time. The intention of replatform is, for any application, is to make it more available, more scalable, isolated from any of these network glitches or any of these things. And refactor is another approach where you rewrite entire applications, because you might have built the applications 4 or 5 year back with with absolute UI, which is not very interactive. You may be switching to single page application SPA with any of these technologies like JavaScript frameworks like Angular, React. So that's where you will change more your application into SPA kind of application and support mobile devices. And also you have to change your backend to suit API driven approach. So that's where we do refactor. At times we also do re-architect our applications so that they are more cloud native and follows the microservices pattern, so that they have isolation and resiliency built into the stack. Because we have to support our $11 billion business of VMware, so we employ different techniques based on the application needs, where the application has a major changes from business functionality, then we go refactor and re-architect approach. Otherwise, we take a replatform approach for applications which doesn't have much changes. Okay, let's dive into now. Now we visited app modernization techniques and strategies. Now get it into how we did that app modernization journey. And app modernization journey is not just a technically converting our legacy application into microservices and cloud native applications using 12 factor and other techniques. We take a holistic approach how we can transform our applications, and to be more innovative, to introduce new business capabilities as quick as possible. For that, what we try to do is we take an existing application, make it more API driven, more event driven, and get into AI ML capabilities into the applications, which is we call data driven. So along with the transformation in an application from legacy application to a microservice cloud native, we also bake into other concepts like API driven, event driven, data driven. And once those applications are ready, we take the modern application platforms like a Tanzu Kubernetes Grid, which is provided by VMware. We use that platform capabilities to deploy these applications easily and to scale them easily, make them reliable, and it makes developer experience very neat and very quick. And also along with this journey, we started going a concept called pods, where a nimble small teams will build small sets of services and with quicker cadence. So these teams focused on building those APIs, building these mobile apps so quickly as possible, roll out to the customers. Along with, we train our internal staff with a different skill set like cloud management and automation, all these things. So end of the day, what we want to do is uh, the goal for any business is to roll out new features as quick as possible, make systems more resilient and highly available. That's what we want. Our approach is, it's not just modernizing technical stack. So we want to accelerate that journey, and we want to do digital transformation as quick as possible. With giving of overview of what you're gonna get into next 30 minutes, I will hand over to our platform leader and who manages our technology platform. And Ganesh, he's my co-worker. He will walk you through how platform-based approach benefited us and how it made easy to deploy application and scale them. Yep. Thank you, Ganesh. We can take over.
Thanks a lot, Venkta. Nicely articulated and summarized, right? So as Venkta said that we are a billion-dollar company, and how does billion-dollar company footprint look like? You can see it. The numbers speak by themselves, right? So my God, 44 petabyte of data and like 7.4K EXXIs and 1.3 millions VMs creating weekly. That's a lot to digest, right? And believe me or not, but this is the current era where you do the development every now and then, and you need resources. And to do the better management of these resources, we'll be seeing in the upcoming slides. Yep. So here is kind of it's just a glimpse of not only our journey. It's like any company who has been trying to think to go to market with strategy of being cloud native. This has been their story. Like we are sharing our VMware story here, but you can correlate here. There was a time, I remember, I've been to this industry more than a decade, and there was a time when we were doing the uh, POC. How does my application will behave when I'm running my application on physical server versus the virtual machine? And remember, that time also our choice was VMware. We were doing the POC between VMware hosted ESXi components, and then what we had as a physical servers. Believe me, when we did the testing, numbers were speaking by themselves, and like there was no difference, but we seen little bit of improved analytics, improved metrics, because we were able to put in our own agents, our own settings over those VMs. So yeah, like visualization helps us a lot. Then there was a next phase. Means you remember, right? In 2016-17, everybody was talking, hey, I think we should be cloud ready. Means we should be hosting our application either on on-prem cloud or the cloud provider on the AWS. So means there were so many companies who were giving the cloud, right? And everybody was running behind that. So that was the era where like, what do we achieve by going cloud ready? Like, I will be not spending much time for procurement of a VM. That time, most of the buzz was around getting the VMs around, right? Then this thing came, the cloud native journey, where we are today now. So everything is API driven, everything is self-service, everything is marketplace. Suppose my colleague here, Shovik, whom I'm working from last many years, he have his source code in his local laptop, and he want to get it in production, like not in matters of days, weeks. He wanted to be get it done in just matter of hours. So he should be having a UI where he should just go, and he should be pointing his source code to the with his repo where he have stored it, and just say, see a push, and that's it. Your application is ready on the production side. And that's how this cloud native journey has been evolved for us, for VMware. And I think this will be the same for the people who are joined and will be gaining the experience out of this webinar. Yeah. So if you know the main pillar of any organization who want to modernize their platform offering. The three key components are build, run, and manage. So when we say build and run and manage, how come these can be three different offerings? Right? Means end of the day, it's a platform responsibility to give a platform to the dev team and just make their application available, go to market kind of strategy. But believe me, we VMware, we are innovative and we go to every bit and minor detail of the platform hosting. And that's why what we have done is in every pillar, we have created nice products. The products, if I talk about the build pillar, where we have got the Tanzu application catalog, what does this guy do? So have you thought like I can be image free? I can be, I can have the luxury that I don't need to worry about uh, creating the Docker containers. That will be the responsibility of the platform operator or the provider who is giving me hosting my services. That will be cool, right? Means you don't need to worry. Only need to worry about your source code. So TAC helps you. Means Tanzu application catalog helps you. And then uh, on your platform, shall I get a streamlined pipeline where I can just say, hey, my code is into GitLab. You pull it from there and deploy it over the platform which you have given. Yeah, there is a VRCS which we provide as a product. Then this is the game changer. Means today microservices are using like service discovery and like traceability, observability using the Spring Cloud services. Do we have any product in VMware? Yeah, we do have. This is called Spring Cloud Services. It got your service discovery, gateway services, and like traceability. Everything is there. You go and explore it. Just you'll like it. Then the second phase comes, that second pillar, manage. I'm a platform operator. I want to spend little less time on my day-to operation. How do I do that? Means I want to create a Kubernetes cluster in just matter of minutes. How do I do that? Yeah, you have transmission control. Logging is a like tough task. Means everywhere when you do the troubleshooting, logging helps you a lot. But is it good? Does it look good? Like I go to some path and then fetch the logs and then try to grab the some keywords after it. No, I think you should be seeing some what we realize log insight gives you. It really gives you a nice feature that you can put the analytics and you can quickly troubleshoot through your applications and find out the root cause. Believe me, we have expert in house who are doing this for years. And then the last thing in the this Tanzu observability by Wavefront. Believe me, this is the product which has changed our metrics gathering process, either from the application side, either from the platform side. We have the single window where we can see the matrices for the applications, platform, and infrastructure itself. Like everything we can just see on single dashboard, everything is there, and then we can quickly tell that I think the problem lies in this area. Yeah, that's how the Wavefront facilitate you. Then the third pillar and the main, it is not last, but last not the least, but it is very important that you want your runtime. Uh, Back in days, you were spinning your JVM using some application servers, right? And it was from particular vendor. So there was a vendor locking. But now what VMware has done with the blend of open source, we have built our own TKG binary. When I say TKG, it is nothing but VMware blended binaries for the Kubernetes. It is known as Tanzu Kubernetes Grid. Then also we have the Tanzu application service where as like this is an era where everything is a marketplace. You want to do everything as self-service. You want messaging services. You want Redis. You want databases. Everything is available. Just go and explore Tanzu application services. And what is the base for all this? Means okay, you give me build, run, manage all this software, and how do I leverage it? And how VMware has achieved all this from the infrastructure layer. So yeah, we have something called as VMware Cloud Foundation, which help you to build the SDDC kind of flavor. Then vSphere, vSAN, NSX, and like we also have done the partnership. Like we had today, we have done the partnership with Microsoft, GCP, AWS. So we have listed one of them as our VMC product, which is nothing but VMware on AWS. And if you see how many applications we have done, these are just like main three pillars like ticketing, HR, and VMware kind of application. And believe me, the VMware application which we hosted over this platform who had handled more than like 50K users per second transactions. So yeah, that's like holistic view of our build and manage. And all this like build and manage, there is one central point for like how do we ensure that if tomorrow Shobik is coming with a new application and he just need not to interact with me for his need, which is like already automated. Because in this DevOps team or the era where is like DevOps, SRE, and all these are the buzz where a developer want his container to be seeing in the production just in matter of seconds or minutes. I think he should not be coming to me and asking for something, some resources. He should be able to do it using some UI and some nice APIs. So here what we have come is with the PAAS offerings. So in the previous slide where I mentioned about TKG and the Tanzu application services, those are nothing but the part of the your PAAS platform offering, where everything is like it's accessible over the internet. It's integrated with the your dev tools. It's collaborative. When I say it's collaborative, how does it means if my DevOps team want to build something, means they want to build a pipeline, if they want to like release their software sooner, this platform, I can take an example of Tanzu application services. It has the integration with all recent pipeline softwares. It means you can configure your pipelines through the VRCS, you can configure through the Jenkins, anything which is there in the world, either it is open source or it is enterprise, you can go and collaborate with them because there are plugins. And then last but not least, again, it is adaptive. When I say it's adaptive, means if you see there is a latest tech coming in like service mesh, is that adaptive into your current PaaS offering? When I say PaaS offering, Tanzu application services, does the service mesh is available into your Tanzu application service? Yes, it is. Is it available into the TKG, Tanzu Kubernetes Grid? Yeah, it is. So with this, what we have done is we have created a partnership between our R&D team and our global sales and our dev team itself. And see, this whole picture tells you why PaaS is the pillar of application modernization. Yep. So yeah, we everywhere go and tell build better software faster. Just in time is the buzz, right? Means everybody say, I want to develop everything just in time. I'm not sure if you are aware, the Ford company and the most of the automobile company, they are following the rules like everything should be in just in time. Why? To do the cost saving, to do the optimization. And how does they have achieved it? They have achieved it using two pillars of it, like standardization and automation. So does VMware facilitate that? Yeah, we do. We have a product called a Platform Automation Toolkit, which provides you the luxury. Again, it's a blend of the open source tools where you can like format your YAMLs and create your infrastructure as a code using this Platform Automation Toolkit and create your pipeline to deploy your platform just in matter of seconds or the minutes. So your day one, day two operations become very easy. Yeah. Okay. So again, I'll talk about the Shovik again. He's my best friend in my this journey. So again, like Shovik has a nice idea. He want to put it over like some sandbox kind of environment. How does he do that? Like he has his source code on his local laptop. He tested, it went fine now, but he wanted to take it from the production or say dev environment to production in just again like glimpse of seconds, right? So, so as I mentioned, like in this current world, everything is a marketplace. There should be a shopping cart where he can come and shop about the requirement which is there for the containers, which is there for the messaging services, database, anything which is needed for his application to go into production. So how does like this loops goes like he comes, he requests, and he get it. Do VMware has facilitate any software about this? Yeah, as we mentioned, the Tanzu application service is there. Then Tanzu application catalog is there, which is like built-in blueprints for your deploying your applications. And this is created in keeping in mind that today everything is cloud native. The lift and shift is Mozo today. Means if whatever I have developed on my local laptop should be working on the all across the multi-cloud environment. Doesn't matter if I'm deploying over the cloud which is on AWS, Azure, or my on-prem cloud. It should work everywhere. So your auto healing, your auto scaling, the observability, and like again, you are into a cloud native era where security is a biggest threat. So how do you achieve that using the VMware products? Just go and explore Tanzu application services. And with this, I'll let the loop continue from between inner to out. Hey, Shavik, I will invite you to go ahead and just share our journey.
Thanks for the excellent overview, Ganesh and Venkata. So with the forum set and the stage set for the launch of the application, so you have now learned how we are architecting our systems. You learned how we are utilizing and provisioning our platforms. Now let's move on how the application teams are utilizing these platforms to build and deploy and their services. So the code in VMware is about adopting these platforms. So adopting these platforms is based on four major pillars, which are around refactor, re-architect, re-hosting all these applications. So how are we doing these activities on a day-to-day basis? When it comes to about refactor and re-architecting the applications, well, we have the source code, which could be a legacy code, which is now becoming a cloud native, or we are making new cloud native services ready. At this point of time, it's more about how we ensure our application teams and the owners are not having to configure every service in a different way. It's a more streamlined fashion that we have created. What we have utilized is core Kubernetes concepts, be it like using the config maps, which uses just the key value pairs, and you are having a greater control on the finer as well as the coarse grained data, or using deployment to manage your pods and your replica sets. With the code, with your deployment configs, with your config maps, you now are about to move into your building your containers. When you are moving into building your containers, how are you achieving immutability and isolation? Well, that is possible here with using the container configuration. You would have heard Ganesh speaking about using Tanzu application catalog, where we already have curated set of images or builds which we can already use. If you are willing to use them, go ahead and use that in your services. If you are building a brand new container after it's done, where do you store them? It's in the Harbor Container Registry. So Harbor Container Registry is an open source cloud native computing foundation or CNCF graduated project, which is a repository or storehouse of all these images. The brilliance of this product is it's a secure and access-based access control system where you store images as well as they are scanned regularly and are cleaned or cleared from vulnerabilities. With your platform now in a refactored and a re-architect format, now you want to deploy your applications. What we use is Tanzu Kubernetes Grid and VMware Tanzu application services. Now, both are on different flavors. One is running on a Kubernetes-based platform. Another one is running using a native Cloud Foundry. So how you achieve, again, a streamline or a common source here is how you configure your code. It's a configurable as a code, but you don't need to change for every artifact, every details. It's a common repository where you maintain all your routing, ingress, deployment details, network policies, auto scaling, whatever and whichever things you ask for. With this, you are about to host your service. Now you host your service onto Tanzu Kubernetes grid or Tanzu application service, and your services are ready to be launched and utilized. Well, now with all these 4 R's covered, how you are going to manage your services. Management is done using Tanzu Observability, which is provided by Wavefront, as well as the core logging, which we are using, the vRealize login site, which I will be discussing in the next slide. So with the adoption in place, what are the components that we use? Well, the pictorial diagram here depicts how we are having a simplified version of a service or multiple applications which are running on VMware Tanzu application grid or application services and VMware Tanzu Kubernetes grid. Bit different since you understood that one is moving or one is based on the Kubernetes platform, another is on the Cloud Foundry. So one side you see the containers, another side you see the core applications. But the core stack remains same. What is provided from the marketplace, we are utilizing them. So what comes first to our mind is VMware Tanzu data services. Well, it's a consortium, or you can say a consortium of multiple different things that we use on a regular basis. What are they? Caching. You want caching to layer to be introduced in your application. You don't need to go further. We have VMware Tanzu Gemfire. The benefit of using it, you have your legacy services which you want to bring to the cloud. You have a brand new cloud native application which you are planning to launch. Both can leverage the same Gemfire caching solution. You want database as a service. Yes, we have a solution for it. It's VMware Tanzu database as a service, which is currently using the MySQL engine, as well as Postgres engine is currently in beta phase. Benefit of using this, it's available in marketplace. A developer or an application developer user can just go ahead and configure it on demand on the fly. No need to wait for days to provision a MySQL cluster. With that, we move to how we are using our messaging. For that, solution is even present within the VMware services. It's VMware Tanzu RabbitMQ or VMware Tanzu RMQ. Why we are using this? This is an enterprise-grade, fully proven solution which can connect to any application, any device, and it can handle a huge amount of requests. Whatever you throw at it, it's just goes ahead and accepts, and it provides the complete armor for an application team or an application developer to use it in their day-to-day operations. With that comes the new product, that's the VMware Tanzu Greenplum. Where we use it, it's about more using for the PI reporting. You have machine learning requests, or you want to get your services into a more different domain altogether, well, go ahead and use that service. With Tanzu data services, the core, what comes is our management plane. At that, we are using VMware Tanzu Observability by Wavefront. What's the benefit of using this? You get an end-to-end solution where you can monitor your application stack end-to-end. You can troubleshoot anything on the fly. You don't need to wait for, okay, where are my logs? You have a single pane of view where you can just go ahead and play around with your logs, with your matrices, whatever you ask for. You can build out custom matrices based on these based on the matrix, which can be an application matrix, or it could be your platform matrix. And based on it, you create smart alerting. How smart alerting helps us? That provides the core feature of using management plane as a service here. With observability in place, how we are using loggers. For that, we also use our in-house VMware product, which is vRealize Login Site. With this in mind, let's move ahead and find what are the key requirements that any application needs to have when it's ready to be launched onto the cloud. Well, first is about high availability. Then how are you going to scale your applications? How are you going to make your applications resilient? So this forms the 3 main foundations for your services or applications which you are launching. With this, let's see the nitty-gritty of every component here. First up is about high availability. So how we have achieved high availability within the VMware services? Well, as you have noticed that we are using different platforms, but that doesn't stop us from getting the concepts or getting the foundation same, which can be leveraged by any device or any application that you want. With this in mind, let's take a snapshot here, how we have performed these or how we have reached to this journey. Here you see we have certain applications or pods which are registered onto Tanzu Kubernetes Grid, which is our Kubernetes-based offering. We have a multi-data center-based approach, which is classified again into zones. Now, you see a request which is reaching to our data centers, and it can be in an active format of data centers, or it could be an active passive data center, or it could be an active hot standby data center mode. Based on this, we have our instances replicated, our clusters replicated, and more importantly, we have monitoring in each and every layer of the stack, how we are using them and how we are collecting these matrices and utilizing for our benefit of the high availability. It doesn't just stop with a real time or a real user transaction. Our synthetic transactions also go through the same model, and we have quite a good amount of volume of data with which we analyze and find out what we can achieve more, and that's what's leading us to this journey of high availability. With that, we will move around to how we are doing our day-to-day deployments, releases. If you want a highly available system, the first thing that comes to mind, how you can streamline your releases, how you can have a no downtime release. We follow blueprint deployment model. But before reaching there, I will go through how we reach to that place. You have your source code created, and you are now ready to build your application, containerize your build packs based on the platforms. Then you have your registry, and now you want to deploy your application. Well, we have various models that we have heard about. It could be a fixed deployment, it could be a blueprint deployment, or it could be a canary-based deployment. What we follow is blueprint deployment. The benefit of this, you have multiple versions of your application running, and both are serving your real-time traffic as well as your synthetic monitoring traffic. You are in complete control of your ecosystem, of your applications. You want to roll back in case of certain adverse scenarios, it's very easy to get it back. And the moment you are confident, you are just go ahead and you are just ready to launch your application, just turning on your just few configurations which are on the fly, and and it's just like unimaginable how we have achieved that piece of automation, and we are in complete control of our applications services. Well, this doesn't limit to if you are using a Kubernetes based platform or a Cloud Foundry based platform. It's agnostic. It's a platform agnostic feature using the platform toolkits and different solutions that we have in mind. So with deployments in place, it comes about how we are scaling our applications. Well, scalability can happen in two ways. It can be an active scalability, or it can be a passive scalability. What we follow in VMware as a team is active scalability. It doesn't need any manual or human intervention to, okay, scale up my resources, scale up my applications based on different matrices. Well, the core of the scalability is how my control plane is behaving or understanding when to perform this action. How we have performed it, or how we are coming to know about these different scalable scenarios that are required, is based on different matrices, which could be your CPU or memory matrix. It could be the custom matrix. Here, VMware Tanzu observability comes into play. It could be the volume of requests that is being received by your applications. Well, let's take the scenario. I have a high peak during during a certain season. As Ganesh was mentioning, we were having around 50,000 transactions per minute or per second. How we scale up our applications in that case? Well, we have the monitoring in place. It notifies that okay, there is a need that your volume has scaled up. The breach is noticed. The pod gets created, and it's ready to serve the request. How this happens, there is no human here who is doing or recreating this pod or deploying it. It's the system which is taking care. It's the heart of the Tanzu Kubernetes product. And using the different associated Tanzu portfolio products here, we spawn a new instance. We are ready to serve any high amount of traffic. Once the traffic is slowing down, we are ready to even destroy that service, and we follow the same process for scaling up again when we reach certain scenarios. With scalability, high availability now covered, it comes to about resiliency. Well, no system today can be not talking about being resilient. In VMware, we follow this as a core of our any application development journey. Resiliency is baked into our development phase. We don't wait for failures to happen and then be on a passive mode, but we are actively creating different scenarios how we can bolster our resilient posture of all our applications. At this point, what lies core of our philosophy is developers being responsible about resiliency because they know about the nitty-gritty of the systems. With developers being at the core of the resiliency and other stakeholders coming in, we embrace this failures as in a natural state whenever this happens, and we try to take in all these scenarios which come up and how we can improve our resilient posture. With resiliency, it comes how in VMware we are using these resilient patterns. It's different patterns that we have employed. It's about using the circuit breakers, using timeouts, using fallback, how the governance can happen in your application on a real-time basis, how you can use bulkheads to perform all these resilient operations. With that, I will take a small example of how VMware is using these different resiliency patterns in a live application. Well, here we have a microservice which is about getting certain details from some service. At the end, we have a governor in place. Once the request reaches this governor, it decides what to perform. Well, I have multiple data sources. Based on these data sources, if I know what is my active data source, I forward the request to that specific node. If I know if my active data source is not operational at the moment, I come back to my standby mode here. With a governor, that comes to the fallback. Fallbacks are rapid and it's controlled in an automated fashion. It uses the core platform features which we have heard so far, as well as how applications are instrumented to be resilient to these failures. With this, it comes about using circuit breakers. Well, this is similar to your electrical circuit breakers where you don't want to accept any request if you know that you are already encountering a problem within your subsystem. At that point, a circuit breaker trips and it doesn't accept a request. And at the time when it finds that, okay, it's has recovered from the fault, it starts acknowledging the request back in a phased manner and then services your request. At this point of time, does it impact the entire user base of who are utilizing these services? Definitely not. We have different backup plans in place within the applications which can provide features which are still accessible to users. Possibly a get operation can work, or maybe an HTTP post method where you are creating a request might not be operational. With that, it comes about retries, how you can manage your retries on a request. It's based on different HTTP methods. It's based on the configurations that we have kept in at the platform level as well as on the application level. With that, it's moving to the timeouts. Timeouts are very critical. How you configure your application timeouts. You don't want your user to wait for an extended period of time and just see a blank screen that, okay, we are not able to service your request. So how streamlined you can make your applications in these cases and adjust to these timeout scenarios and get into the fallback methods wherever it's applicable is controlled by the application during this course of development. And definitely it's about bulkheads where you are isolating your services based on the number of requests that's coming in, based on the criticality of that application, and based on the user base that's it's serving. So with that, we are using the native platform provided features, which could be around auto healing of your services, the fault tolerant nature that's provided from the platform, and using the different observability tools that we have in our workspace, which is VMware Tanzu Observability by Wavefront, as well as vRealize Log Insight, which notifies what's going on in your ecosystem. And we also have a multi-cluster platform setup and replications, which we did talk about in the high availability scenarios. With that, we learned about our high available, scalable, and resilient development methods. So this is an end-to-end solution which talks about a request coming to our services intercepted by the gateway and forwarded to the applications. Now, our applications are hosted on different platforms, but the routing protocols or the connectivity to them remains the same. Here, what we observe is once an API gateway intercepts a request, it forwards based on the different configurations that we have to the required platform. If it goes to the Tanzu Kubernetes thread, it's intercepted again by the Avi load balancers. Or if it goes to Tanzu application services, we have the Go routers controlling the next phase of execution. So we have the containers for the Kubernetes thread and the applications deployed on the Tanzu application service platform. And with this, we are managing this entire platform plus development or the developed apps that's present over there using our management stack, which comprises of observability, Tanzu observability by Wavefront, log insight or vRealize log insight for loggers, and for deployments. With this, we are coming to a close of our application developmental journey using these different platforms that we have. And before we move on, how you can reach us about different VMware programs. Well, it's just a mail away. You can drop a note to us here. You can read our excellent blogs, which gets published every day over the blogs.vmware. Not only that, if you are active on social media, come and use